Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to break up with my girlfriend after her ex's funeral? Original post. So my girlfriend and I have been together for about 4 years. She used to be close friends with her ex. However, he tried to make a move on her while she and I were together. So she cut off their friendship. They knew each other for about 10 years. They were high school sweethearts and stayed together throughout college. They broke up because he did not want kids. He died recently, and my girlfriend was invited to the funeral. While I wasn't happy, so to speak, to see my girlfriend cry about this guy, I swallowed my emotions and offered my full support. She asked me to come with her, and here's where things get messy. She kept talking about she wishes they never broke up in the first place, and that she's never met someone who she loved as much as him. She made a speech about how she says that if things had been different, they'd be a happy family with children. I had to force myself not to say anything then. Now we're back home, she hasn't said anything about what she said. I'm so close to just leaving, but I just don't know if she only said that out of grief. Now for the top comments before reading the update. She would have left you in a heartbeat if he had told her he was ready for kids. You're not her first choice. Yeah, imagine when the guests head over to Opie's girlfriend. Guests and family. That was a lovely speech. They look at Opie. Oh, who are you? Opie, her boyfriend. Guests and family. Oh, it's messed up. Me? I'm just a guy filling in for the dead guy. OP, you do not want to be Will Smith. You do not. GTFO. Not a-hole. People can say, be understanding. She's dealing with a heavy loss. But that doesn't magically fix the sting of the words she said that hurt you. If this was within 6 months of the breakup, maybe I'd be more understanding. However, you've been together for 4 years. They ended due to his desire to not have children. So not only is she hurting you, she's lying about the dead guy by telling everyone the fantasy life she'd imagined for them, as if it was holy writ. She's more than allowed to feel grief due to their decade-long history. However, she's not allowed to treat you as less than, second, or just good enough. You 100% deserve someone who puts you first always, with very rare exceptions, and this ain't one of them, honey, as I'm sure you've done for her. Heck, you went with her to the funeral of her ex because she asked. You were there for her, and she showed you where you rank in the grand scheme of things. Leave for you. Choose to put yourself first, because guess what? She showed you in a room full of people where you rank. You deserve more than this betrayal. Maybe by if things had been different, she meant if he'd wanted kids, or something like that. If she's already in if-only land, it's not a huge stretch for her to think if he'd wanted kids, we would have stayed together. And if we'd stayed together, we would have had kids. And maybe he wouldn't have been in the situation that led to his death because of the butterfly effect or something. Who knows? OP should leave her. It sucks to be the settled-for backup, and she shouldn't be saying these kinds of things where he can hear, or honestly, even where he can't. Now for the update. Hello everyone. It's been a stressful couple of days, and my post got a lot more attention than I expected. It was overwhelming, to be honest. It's been a week since the funeral itself, and I've been talking to some friends, as well as reading comments on my last post. Truth be told, I've been hesitant to talk about this to my girlfriend because she's still a bit depressed. She's not talking to me at all, and I've been taking care of everything around our place. She's just been laying in our bed. I've tried to talk to her, but she just shuts me out. I've been reflecting on our past relationship and realized a couple things. My girlfriend was never as passionate with me as she was with her ex. She never did anything as romantic or thoughtful for me when compared to her ex. For example, she's never gone traveling for more than 3 days with me, but she traveled often with her ex, sometimes for years. It's not like I haven't offered, I was simply told to get over it, and that each relationship is different, and people said stuff like, if she wanted to be with her ex, she would be. Something also to note is that some of you actually pointed my attention to another post. One that's about a girl going to her ex's funeral. I read a post, and I don't know if it's actually my girlfriend or not. Some details are different, like our age. We're both 30. Also, I never said anything about breaking up with her for going to the funeral. I wasn't exactly happy to see her mourn the guy who wanted to sleep with her while she was with me, but I didn't actually say anything. Now, the post admitted that she actually cheated. I thought about this for a second, but it doesn't matter. Because if she cheated or not, I already broke up with her. I did have a talk with her. She refused to at first by not responding to me, but when I told her I was leaving, she finally said something to me. I basically told her that I feel crap ever since she said those things at a funeral. How I feel like she would rather be with her ex than me. That I felt like her second choice. She started to yell at me, calling me selfish and that she's lost one of the most important people in her life, and I shouldn't make this about me. I was too tired to try to yell back. My things were already packed up. I'm staying with my parents for a while. Our lease doesn't expire for a few months, so I don't know what she's planning to do. I don't know what to do now. I thought I was gonna marry this girl someday and have kids, but she wanted someone else all this time. I appreciate all the comments, and I don't know if I'm gonna post another update, but thank you. Calling me selfish and that she's lost one of the most important people in her life, and I shouldn't make this about me. Here's the thing. She didn't lose one of the most important people in her life. She made it clear that she lost the most important person in her life. From your other post, she kept talking about she wishes they never broke up in the first place and that she's never met someone who she loved as much as him. She made a speech about how she says that if things had been different, they'd be a happy family with children. I don't know what other conclusions to read from this. I could certainly see feeling sad or down when an ex that you've known for a significant part of your life passes away. But that's not only what occurred. She wishes they never broke up. She's never met someone who loved her as much as he did. And if things had been different, they would still be together. In each of those thoughts, you are, at best, second place. Never includes you. She is with you because they broke up. She doesn't think you can ever love her as much as he did. And if things were different with him, she would not be with you. Is she mourning him and the significance he had had in her life? Or is she mourning someone she still loved and mourning the loss of the opportunity to still be with him? You're not selfish, and you do not want to be with someone where you will always be a placeholder. I think this is an excellent take. I have a friend whose ex died a while back. They were together for a few years, and they ultimately broke up because of incompatible life goals. They were both really torn up about it, and it took her a while to move on, but she did. As time went on, she would sometimes talk about things in their relationship that weren't that great, or she looked back on now and saw some other issues that were glossed over in the moment. All in all, she reflected on their relationship fondly, but it just didn't work out. She dated some other people, but nothing serious. Then, he died in a tragic accident and she was devastated. And I truly understood. Their relationship had been quite serious, probably the most serious one she'd ever had. They broke up so they could both be happier living the lives they wanted, but then he died. He's not out there living his life. He's gone. It took time, nearly a year, but today she truly has mourned him and moved on. There was no what-ifs or the one who got away. They made their decision back then that there was no future between them. She hadn't been pining for him the whole time. What she mourned was him losing his future and the pain that his loss caused his family. She's back out there dating again and really does seem ready now. OP's ex clearly hoped that her ex would change his mind and had been dating OP to keep herself occupied until that time. Now that her ex is gone, he's going to forever be on a pedestal and no one else will ever measure up. I hope she gets some therapy so she can move on for real and stop lying to herself about what she's doing. Man, you are doing the right thing. You absolutely deserve someone who loves you as the first priority. I wish you all the best for your future. OP has finally decided to stand up for himself and we are all proud of him for doing it. For her to scream that she lost one of the most important people in her life really dodged a bullet. This, like, damn ma'am, did you hear nothing he just said to you? Nope, because she only cares about herself. Might be why her ex dumped her. Hard to date somebody when their head is up their own behind. Last story. Update. Am I the a-hole for rolling my eyes at my boyfriend's proposal because it took 25 years of me begging? Original post. Yesterday after dinner, my 52 female boyfriend of 30 years, 53 male, proposed to me. He just walked towards me holding a box and said to open it. It was a ring, and I had pictured this moment a million different times, but never thought I'd be so apathetic. My boyfriend then said that he was retired now and wants to kick back and enjoy life with me, and would love to do it all with me as his wife. And I speech and all, but from the 5-year mark of our relationship onwards, I had been making clear my deep desire to marry, and was consistently dismissed, given empty promises, gaslit. We had been through the gamut with therapy, and one counselor implied that me telling him we needed to go to therapy and getting his butt on a couch still means nothing if his mind has been made up. I was in denial about the fact he was just giving me the false illusion of progress to stall. My boyfriend and I have 4 kids. The oldest 3 are adults, while the youngest is 15 female who was sleeping over elsewhere when this all went down. All of our kids went to a private school filled with typical Southern soccer parents. I had to endure PTA mom's jabs about me not sharing a last name with my kids. Preteen years were hell, because the other kids would taunt my kids by saying, "Your dad would rather sin and go to hell than marry your mom." My boyfriend's mom would tell him marriage would be selfish on my part. It is just a piece of paper. My boyfriend ended up rising up the ranks until he became an executive. I was his stay-at-home mom, so I felt like there was always a power imbalance, exasperated by the fact I could be tossed away any time. I partly did stay because I wanted my kids to have the best life, and because I felt lucky and proud to be partnered with such an intelligent, successful man, but also because I loved him. These past few years, my boyfriend's career has taken a downturn. He will never be poor, but a company he was part of took a nosedive during 2020, and he had made enemies out of associates and board members. He decided to step back from his role and take the generous severance agreed upon. Now he is living off his investments and wants to relax. I did not like how his career ended and how he treated people, and had been deciding whether I wanted to leave and find somebody else after our youngest turns 18. So, the proposal was a shock because I should hope that he noticed I have avoided conversations about the future as of late. He rattles on about downsizing our house so we can travel, and also cutting back on our other expenses. But we're not married, so it's all his money/house anyway. He did notice my eye roll and was offended. He asked what's wrong, and I said that suddenly now that he's downsizing I'm good enough to marry? He got mad and said that now that he's downsizing and no longer an executive, I suddenly think our relationship is disrespectful, and started implying I was a gold digger. I was so angry I walked out. I said I might just go out looking for a respectful relationship because I don't know what respect is anymore. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. If you were begging for him to propose, why did you stay for 25 years? Because I was a stay-at-home mom of many kids, and he was this big executive, so I felt if I offended him in any way, he'd use his influence to screw me in a custody battle, or otherwise make my life miserable. He has noticed that you've been pulling away from him. That's why he's chosen to propose now. If he wanted to marry you, he'd have done it years ago. This is just an attempt to make you stay by giving you what you wanted. The retirement is just a convenient excuse. Some studies seem to indicate that as men experience a drop in testosterone, they suddenly start to value relationships a lot more, with both their kids and their partners. Depending on just how poorly they've treated everyone, they may find they've burned those bridges, leaving them no choice but to get a new wife and start a whole new family at 50. I'm sort of kidding about that last bit, but it's why I'm not sure what I make of the studies. They provide convenient cover for do-over families instead of putting in the work to atone for the harm one has caused. All of that to say, it's theoretically possible that now that his career has failed, he realized just how much he does in fact want OP to be his permanent partner. But it's still crappy of him to think just because his mind has finally changed, she should be happy. And in her shoes, I'd walk. What did he expect? What did you expect? Like seriously, you wanted a marriage but you stayed half your life with someone so set on making you the bad guy for wanting that until recently? Why would you stay with someone like that? Why would you reproduce with someone like that? Several times. It's just disappointing for your kids to suffer that much bullying for this. Like all for nothing. I don't know who the a-hole is. But unfortunately for him, he kinda missed his chance. And unfortunately for you, you put yourself in a box. Not the a-hole for rolling your eyes, but everyone sucks here. You for enabling him to do you dirty for 25 years. Get all of the privileges of being a husband without ever being your husband. You begged someone to marry you, the value you have which didn't, and you proceeded to have several children with him. Like, girl, stand up please. He wasted your whole life and now he's playing in your face. Now for the update. At the time of my original post, my boyfriend and I had not spoken since the engagement fight. I've been with him long enough to know that when he goes and closes the bedroom door before I get in, that's a signal that I should sleep in one of the guest rooms. So I did that. However, this morning I broke the ice. I told him about how dismissed I felt over the years. I also said that we are both in our 50s, and these last few years have taught us that people at work who kiss the ground you walk on one day can easily turn on you the next. And true partners in life are valuable and hard to find, so I wished he'd treat me like I'm valued. Instead, he treats me like he thinks prettier, better, and just as loving is always around a corner. I apologized for the eye roll, but told him that if he wants marriage, I want a quick committed timeline and genuine happiness from him to be marrying me. I don't need a big party. He listened to me and finally asked if this was about the money/security. He told me that being an executive's girlfriend required things of me, but if I wanted to work, I could have. He said he doesn't think I'm grateful enough for the position in society I was in due to his career. But that is not mad about the eye roll. He said he didn't succeed by being that sensitive. He went on to say I was not his prisoner, so I can leave at any time. But to remember, he won't tolerate being made my prisoner either via manipulation. He said that for what it's worth, the engagement ring is mine and I could do whatever I wanted with it. He will also not be accused of not providing for his daughter, so be assured he won't shirk child support. But that it felt what I said before was emotional blackmail. So he no longer wants to go forward with marrying, but says if I'd like to travel with him, that's fine. Him traveling is non-negotiable, and so if I wanted to get a job, it would have to be a remote job. It was a sad conversation, and I spent a few hours alone after that. I felt I had nothing to lose, so I just asked him if he would support me getting an associate's, but that most associates for technical careers were in person. He then dropped the bombshell that if I wasn't traveling with him, he wasn't going to go those periods without sex. I was astounded by his callousness, because he's back to take it or leave it. We fought again with me saying we're all feeling the effects of age. I've supported him through health issues, and if he thinks he can just find somebody who has that loyalty I've shown him, he's wrong. At this point, I'm looking for ways out. I can't say I haven't been tempted to say I'll travel with him and try to get a remote job, but also realize how resentful I am that he continues to need to have the power in the relationship. I don't think I'll ever know my value truly, but something's telling me there has to be a better out there, at least in a partner.